Our experience with the first Mortal Kombat was, it turned out great, but the game was very rushed. It was an 8-month project from concept to shipped game, which was crazy when you think about that. Certainly in my head, there was 10 things that I would have done differently.
Shortly after Mortal Kombat 1, Ed and I started to think about what do we want to do next. And one idea we had was we want to do a Star Wars game. Ken Fedesna came down, and I remember us talking excitedly about Star Wars. And Ken's response was, Star Wars, what are you guys talking about with this Star Wars, business? You guys have got to do a sequel to this game. And so that was the first time that I thought, oh, okay, I guess, we're signed up for a sequel.
So new hardware came, new tools came. Warren Davis and all these guys, Todd Allen, everybody was like working on tools to make things better, and we just inherited that. Oh my God.
One of the things that is better about Mortal Kombat 2 from Mortal Kombat 1 is the graphics. Originally, everything was done off of VHS tapes, and it was kind of blurry and stuff.
We eventually started capturing images directly onto the hard drive as opposed to putting it on videotape and then going to the hard drive.
Okay, ready? Ready? Is it live or is it ready to go? That was good.
That allowed us to knock out that losty videotape format that would bleed onto everything.
It just became a more efficient process, a cleaner image for sure.
Outstanding.
We added much better kind of combo system that was going.
Jax wins.
You could turn around and kick. Which to this day I can't believe the first Mortal Kombat doesn't have. A lot bigger of a roster. We wanted to expand, so we had 12 characters and added Jax. That was huge. Katana Molina, who are synonymous with Mortal Kombat at this point.
One of the reasons I know that we swapped Sonya for Katana Molina was because of their masks. We were able to get 2 for 1. So the same palette swapping technique we used for Scorpion and Sub-Zero, we thought, okay, let's take advantage of this with the female characters.
Katana wins. Fatality.
Tony Goski, graphic genius.
Hey, it's Ed Boom.
Ed, John Tobias, and Martin Mel walk in my office. Ed says, hey Tony, we're thinking if do you want to work on Mortal Kombat? I was an instant yes.
Tony Goski was working on a game called NBA Jam, and he was doing a great job, but he, in his heart, he was a traditional painter, and so when Mortal Kombat 2 came along, he was a perfect fit.
It was suited my style and things I enjoyed. Fantasy art, starting to get into surrealism with, like say, Dali and Magritte, and I kind of just went that direction,
Tony Goski defined the majority of the look and feel of Mortal Kombat 2, specifically the backgrounds.
Tony's influence came into what does Outworld look like? What does, this really mysterious Mortal Kombat, this fantasy Mortal Kombat, what does that look like?
Introducing the Outworld was huge because it completely carved a new look for Mortal Kombat. Kind of used like Chinese influence, but with graphic and surrealism kind of coming together. Pit was an iconic stage in MK1, so we made the Pit 2. The person, dun dun dun, gets hit, and it would do what we would call a camera cut now, but it would just do a top view of the person doing like this, and the background would scale up, and
Reptile wins.
He came up with this living forest, and he put my face on the trees.
Oh man.
Albert Brooks all over it. All had to be drawn.
No digitizing for Tony.
What? I did digitize the tree and Ed's face.
we digitized that, And then I would draw on top of it the bark and everything to make it look like a tree. Obviously, about like horror movies and things that are like shocking. You go all the way to the left, and there's a tree kind of looking straight down the fight line, and that's based off Ash from The Evil Dead. That was like one of my favorite backgrounds to work on.
When I was a teenager, I did some stop-action animation just for fun with a Super 8 camera, with clay and toys and stuff like that. When doing Kintaro, there weren't a lot of frames to begin with. It's like, bow, 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 and you would hang on that last, hit or whatever. I would sort of try to mimic what John was doing with main characters as I was doing Kintaro.
For me, what was most exciting was there was this fiction that we would tell a little bit of story just through a couple sentences in the attract mode. And so once the talk of a sequel came about, I knew that, okay, this is our opportunity to tell all this story that we alluded to in the first game. Now we can sort of move things forward.
And so, I mean, it was just, we're so young. It was just like, cool, we're going to do a number 2. Okay. And that's about my thought process, cool, I still have a job.
Initially we had Ed being the announcer for the first Mortal Kombat as Shang Tsung.
Kano. Scorpion. Fight. Excellent.
And then we wanted to go a different direction for the second one, and so they created this character Shao Kahn.
Round 1, fight.
And I'm sure everyone was like, oh yeah, that's going to be Steve.
It's high impact football! Fire, power, 1, 2, enemy destroyed. I am the Black Knight. Voice work in games, I loved it. I loved doing it. If they wanted me, I was there.
If you want a dude with a heavy, deep voice, then you could pitch it down some more and make it sound super basso profundo, that's the guy.
They wanted me to be a 200-year-old Asian man, martial artist. Dan had a structure and a language and a way for me to speak.
Here's the list, do these things, and then a little bit of coaching.
Sonia, Baraka. Round 1, fight.
And he, did a great job, and that's it. That's what you hear in the game.
Finish him. Baraka wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
That voice is, it's my favorite voice. It's fatality. I want to be that guy.
So Ed and I, we worked on these games, and we really liked playing super high impact. There was a machine in the hallway in the back, and we'd go there, have a game or two. In that game, you pick your play, and then the lines come together before you hike the ball. And so as they're doing that, I'm saying, I predict that you're toast. And that evolved into, I predict toasty. And Ed would crack up. George Petro said, you guys should put some of that silly stuff you do in the game. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And go on our day. And then, a couple weeks later, Ed talks to me. He's like, hey, would you be cool if we took your face and when every 100th uppercut, your face comes out and says toasty in the corner of the screen? And I'm like, sure, let's do that. So that's how that happened. Silliness, right? It's good to have a little bit of silliness.
What you should do, Carlos, is just try to jump off. Just try to actually jump straight up and land on your back. I can do that, but I need to land the other way. Is it Elvis? Is it? Okay, ready? Ready. Is it live or is it ready to go? That was good.
That was much better.
There's a story.
Hey, Tony, what did you do in Turtles 3? You just played
Hey, you know I saw the trailer for that yesterday?
Yeah, you're the one that told me about that. The interviews and all that stuff like that.
Yeah. Right, but it's like 2 frames that
Right.
that we use.
See, like that's not bad. Okay, you know what? That's enough.
Oh my God, that was the best one.
Once in a lifetime, a game comes along that transcends our industry. The theme connects with something deep inside us and embeds itself firmly in the popular culture. Once in a lifetime, a game takes on a life of its own. To millions worldwide, it becomes more than just a video game. It becomes an obsession, a controversy. And they just can't wait to take it home. We've created a monster! Actually, we've created several. What if we could outdo our previous successes? What if we could
It's almost
a fighting machine?
It's almost time.
One that eclipsed
It's
every
almost
fighting
time.
game ever made. One with more depth and more characters. What if, amidst all the furor and recognition,
Olha
we could release to the world
Power Game, this one. The Legacy Collection.
experience? We can, and we will, right now.
Which one do your favorite Mortal Kombat? The part 2 or the trilogy?
Here it is! Mortal Kombat 2! More characters! 3 times more images! More secret moves! More battlegrounds! More hidden surprises! And it's
Yeah,
the first
trilogy when
video game to feature our crystal clear
Shiva, that she became my favorite, one of my favorites. And trilogy would be on part
These are the
2.
12 combatants. Each possesses an array of special strengths. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, Reptile, Sub-Zero, Shang Tsung, Kitana,
Vamos con la más en el verde.
Melina, Baraka, Scorpion, and Raiden. Get to know these characters, because when it comes to fighting for profits, they're all in your corner. Mortal Kombat 1 has started an unstoppable global fire, and notoriety has fanned the flames.
I remember Raptor used to be one of my favorite suits in the Raptor, especially like Part 2 and for Mortal Kombat, when I saw him in Mortal Kombat Conquest and Mortal Kombat Movie.
For such massive success.
Yeah, like yesterday. I mean today. Yeah, in the morning.
Get ready to feel the heat of Mortal Kombat 2. The world's ultimate fighting machine.
There's the archer. I remember when we used to play this, we used to put like a lot of, we used to take like a lot of coins. You're trying to find your HP that they used to have, like the arcade place? Well, they probably still do.
Here it is, Mortal Kombat 2. More characters, 3 times more images, more secret moves.
The coolest thing about Mortal Kombat 2 is I didn't know it was coming out.
I knew it was probably being worked on, and there were just rumors floating about.
I never even thought of a sequel. I was so fixated on the first game.
I had no idea. Nobody at my school had mentioned it.
It wasn't until I walked into it was an arcade called Uncle Bob's, and there it was already.
The first thing I saw was somebody slicing someone in half with Kung Lao's hat. And I remember being like, what? There's a Mortal Kombat 2, and it is crazy!
A friend came running into band class one day and said, oh, there's a Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh,
I saw this on characters,
the one you have, the black one?
knives for hands.
Baraka was the first character I kept pumping quarters in. It was so exciting to see the advancements and the new characters.
There is a specific reason that Mortal Kombat 2 is my absolute favorite game in the entire series. And that is because of Kitana's easiest in the world fatality. Walk up to the person and hit high kick. I was immediately a master of art.
I still lean Melina whenever I play to do that back down, low punch, to do that kind of low thing, the forward low kick, to do that kind of teleport from the ceiling kind of thing.
It looked bigger, better, badder, it was bloodier. The animation was more fluid. It looked like a comic book, and that's not something I ever thought I would ever want from a Mortal Kombat game. But like I said, I never even dreamed of a sequel.
You kind of remind me of the Dark
and it was fantastic.
The favorite characters have kind of that step into it. The excitement was just incredible.
I remember seeing Mortal Kombat 2. It was the level that has Shao Kahn, the big bad guy, who had the people chained up on the pedestals in the background. You were fighting your opponent, but there was this sense of storytelling in the actual level design. And that was one of the first times I had seen that, and I'm like, that's really cool, and that's really, really clever.
And I still bought the Game Boy version just because Game Boy was the system I played the most. And what's interesting is that Mortal Kombat 2 for the Game Boy is fantastic. It is an amazing fighting game. It's an amazing fighting game for a portable system with no power.
I played a ton of Mortal Kombat 2 on Super Nintendo. I would have friends over. My living room kind of became a mini arcade. All the blood and gore was there, and it was fantastic.
Fatality.
It felt pretty darn close to arcade perfect. So, haha, that time Nintendo came out on top.
Fatality.
I got put on as a lead on the second one, and that's where we really made the right decisions, which was nice. The idea was to just convert the code line by line and build the multi-processing system so it would work on the Super Nintendo, which of course is a different language of assembly. I think started, is November or something like that in 1993. We had to be done in July, and so we didn't show them anything until April. We just got our first pass of Mortal Kombat 2 for the SNES. Wow. The entire video department here at Midway is absolutely blown away at how well you have matched the feel of our arcade version on Mortal Kombat 2. You can already see that this will be the version to have as the graphics and gameplay are awesome. So we just continued down that road, got the game done on time, and it scored really high. I have some magazines, gave it 5 stars. It was a nice project. I did think that it was done a lot better. They could ship a game that was more like the arcade as much as we could get it anyway. Put the rating on it and not have to have green blood.
Johnny Cage wins.
I don't know if the Genesis guys would debate me, but
Mortal Kombat, this guy is the one that created the rating system for the game?
And the ongoing debate
the first one to put the rating system
to present day, like between the SNES version and the Genesis version. SNES version was perceived as being like the better version, and that's like I think largely it's like more complete version. The reason the SNES was more stuff than ours, so like both made for the same size cartridge, is that it's a lower resolution system, right? So therefore their art assets are smaller, and all the size differences add up.
Jack wins.
You end up with space for fatality. The fact that the speech samples are missing, that's the thing that kind of stands out to me. The way I got the Genesis version was like a little bit convoluted. Basically, Paul had done the first one, Cobra off the second one, and they offered Paul, which is like a kind of logical sort of thing to do, and Paul turned it down.
Idiocy. stupidity at the time I was offered it. I did think that actually MK2 wouldn't ever come out, that it would be banned. There was a bunch of people in the studio kind of talking about violence and talking about this game, so I didn't particularly want to spend all that effort on the game that then got banned. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
So then they offered it to me, right? And I'd never done any Mega Drive stuff before. They used to think of this like a cooperative multitasking. It's the first time I'd ever kind of come across it, and like once I kind of understood it properly, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Basically, I ripped it off. But every game I wrote subsequent to that, I used that system. Everybody was like kind of happy with the national dead, and that was no bad thing. It makes this like a really good game, you know? Hard to mess up.
So you want to get one right now? So it doesn't go like, that late. You want to play and start playing right now? Look, I can see the box right here. Oh, Sega Genesis. It's funny because, when I remember when I bought this, and Sega Genesis, I didn't know better, and I remember I threw the box in the trash. And together with the book. I'm not sure why I did it, but that back then I used to throw the boxes away in the trash. Alright, I'm gonna get on. Wait, let me just do one match real quick. Actually, there's what's missing. How do I play this? Oh no. Oh, the left. Oh yeah, first I'm gonna go to the bathroom.